Fortress Extra, people.
Oh, good Lord.
She says, good Lord. Which is what we're going to talk about. No. Religion. You know how I'm always beating up on Islam? Well, today we're going to beat up on Christianity and Judaism. Okay? But before I start, I do want to say I enjoy beating up on Islam. Because as you all know, I believe that the Hadiths, the Surah, Sunnah, and Summa are an abomination. A good Muslim told me that the Hadiths are not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be the Quran only. And that the Surah, Summa, and Sunnah are only supposed to be practiced during times of war. And only in their land, and not all over the place trying to spread Islam. Now, I don't know if he was being dishonest to me or if he was really being honest. But I'm going to give Islam the benefit of a doubt and believe that 1/3 of them actually practice and believe that, and that the other 2/3 are nuts and support the nuts. I believe that it's composed of, the 1/3 active terrorists and the 1/3 terrorist supporters. Judaism. Okay. Here we go. What is the problem here, right? Everyone is always saying Zionist this, Zionist that, right? Okay, the Zionists are crazy. They're out of their minds. And to prove it, all you have to do is look at the building. The 2 buildings that they built. There is, I believe, 2 buildings that the Rothschilds built for the government. And they have all the symbols of Masonry, Freemasons, and Illuminati. The architecture screams out Satanist. There's even an inverted cross in the form of steps that you are supposed to walk down, and you can see the inverted cross at the end. Okay? The Rothschilds are all part of that. And the Rockefellers also have a hand in building over there in Israel and all that. So, surprise, surprise, everybody. The Rockefellers have Zionist blood in them. They are of the Jews. Okay. Now, there's nothing bad about Jewish people themselves. It's just these groups. Both the Rothschilds and Rockefellers are a part of the 13 elites. And whenever these people build something, it just screams out Satanist, Masonry, Illuminati, all the symbols and everything. And just look at how Washington was built, the city, Washington, D.C. You've got um, the Star of David, all these symbols, if you look at the city from above. Because the Masons did have a hand in the creation of the American government uh, and everything and all that. But at that time, there were good Masons who believed in God. But there were also the evil that the Illuminati brought with them from Bavaria, because that's where the Illuminati began. The Bavarian Illuminati were a bunch of communists. And they eventually weeded out the good Masons and replaced them with their brethren Masons who were Satanists. This group of individuals were also responsible for Lehi, Hanaga, Ergun, these groups of Zionist Jews. The 360 Bolshevik Jews amongst the 10,000 Bolsheviks themselves. The individuals that make people hate Jews when it isn't really the Jews themselves, it's this group. That make up the Zionists. Now, it's true that every Jew does want a state for Jews. But do they want a state of Jews? If they wanted a state of Jews, don't you think that the Christians would not be in Jerusalem? That the Armenians would not be in Jerusalem? That the Ethiopians would not be in Jerusalem? If that were the case? Not all Jews must be pure Zionists. But much like the Muslims, is it possible that it is only 1/3 of the Jews as well that are decent Jews? That could be very possible, couldn't it? Okay. Then let's say, okay, that's possible. Then it is the secular government that is being dangled by the Rothschilds and Rockefellers. And that they would allow the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers to build those buildings that are Satanist monuments. And that this is the practice that is wrong in Israel. But there are also those who practice correctly. What is a true Jew? A true Jew practices the Torah only. Not, you got the Talmud, which is very brutal and bloody, just like the Quran almost. Well, you know, the Torah and I have the other one too. I forget what it's called. The Tanakh. Yes, the Tanakh. The Torah and Tanakh. I have read both, and they're more like the Bible than the Talmud and all the other books of Judaism. And where they go wrong, the good Jews, is they will not accept the New Testament. The Torah and Tanakh are based on the Old Testament alone, and they will not accept the New Testament. And that's where they go wrong. And the Bible tells us that they will have to be awakened by Christ upon his return, and then accept him to be saved. This is why Jesus Christ died on the cross. He did not die for your sins, Christian. He did not die for the world's sins. He died so that you and the Jews could receive heaven by simply accepting him as flesh and spirit. The Son of God. Now for me, God is the multiple universe continuum. For you, he is a deity. Jew, Christian. Contrary to belief that science and religion are at war, there are scientists who are believers and there are those who are not. The problem is that the believers, the scientists, and people do not want to know how it was done. They just want to say, oh, God did it. And the non-believers just want to say, because there was a Big Bang, and there's nothing beyond the Big Bang, and God is not required for that. There is no God. That's the Stephen Hawking view. What they do not understand, what neither believer and non-believer understand, is that, yes, we may not know what is beyond the singularity at the center of the Big Bang. He who is enlightened, and I believe I am, beyond the singularity lies the multiple universe continuum. The place where There are an infinite number of universes who are finite. Our universe is a finite universe. But the multiple universe continuum is infinite. And because our universe is over 13 trillion years old, then in the multiple universe continuum, there must be universes that are older than that and younger than that. And because there's an infinite number of them, then perhaps the multiple universe continuum has been around much, much longer than anything. Everything must have a creator. A wise Zen Buddhist once said. Zen Buddhist. So the universe, multiple universe, creates itself. Getting back to Judaism and Christianity. The true Jew practices only the Torah and Tanakh. Everything else, get rid of it.
Yeah, you go. Oh, my.
Where they go wrong is that they have to build a temple. They don't need a temple. The temple is already there, people. Okay? It's the Temple Mount, and it's the Mount of Olives, these holy sites here that Christ himself is supposed to bless when he returns. If you build a Jewish temple, Christ is not going to accept it. He's not going to accept that mosque, those two mosques that stand there right now. Anything that stands on the Temple Mount is the synagogue of Satan. The synagogue of Satan is those who will not accept Christ. And that's the Muslims and the Jews who are blind. They cannot see right now because he is not made them see. But they are practicing the Torah and the Tanakh. And they are Orthodox. That is ultra-Jewish. But that's where they are wrong alone. No temple is required. And there are smaller groups who do believe that they should remain in this diaspora until the Messiah comes and gathers them from all over the world. And in fact, there are Jews all over the world. Yet they support Israel. Of course they do. They wouldn't be Jews if they did not. But they remain in diaspora. Because the Messiah is supposed to bring them together. The Orthodox who are there because they believe the Messiah is coming. They want to build a temple. But the Muslims own the Temple Mount. And there are some that are trying to find a way around it to build a temple elsewhere. This is wrong too. Both of those visions are wrong. No temple is required. If they would accept the New Testament, they would realize that He, Christ, builds the temple of His own body. His sacrifice on the cross made the land holy. No temple required. Even some stupid Christians want that temple built. All of these idiots that are thinking this are praying and wishing for evil, because everyone knows if they read Revelations that it is the synagogue of Satan that stands on the Temple Mount. Whether it be the mosques or the temple that is in the minds of everyone to build, it is the synagogue of Satan. It is built by those who do not accept Christ. If it is going to be done, people, let the scummy Rothschilds and Rockefellers do it, or let the mosque that the Muslims built, and the other one just across the way from it. Leave those there.
Oh, I know. I hate those. I hate that too. You mean, yeah, game console, I do.
And that
Cool.
is what is wrong with Judaism.
You mean when you come
Although
home?
there are good Jews, and especially those who are still in diaspora, and the groups in Israel now,
But the thing is, do you know what kind of games are?
who always speak out against Zionism. And I support all of them 100%. They may be only a third, but that's okay.
You know, Walling, the food is out.
Not Christianity. Christians await the rapture. The rapture is an idea that was born long after the Bible was ever written. It is false doctrine, people. There is no whisking away of the people just before all hell hits the fan. Because if there are nothing but evil people on the planet, and people who will not accept Christ, then there's no reason for Christ to come. This is what The rapturists do not understand. It is not the good who shall be taken from the earth. It is the evil that will be taken from the earth.
No.
During all of tribulation, many will die.
I can't do anything wrong. I can't do anything wrong.
And the seven
Yeah.
seals, seven trumpets, and seven bowls are revealed. Many will die.
Actually, the only one that came was Joel. Joel,
Some will be good, some will be evil.
Until we get come.
But that is the second rapture, because it continues throughout tribulation
Another crowd is coming.
until Christ
I
comes.
wonder how many can stay there out of that bunch.
The first rapture has already happened, people. It is the rapture of natural death. Everyone meets their end through their lives when they reach old age. It's already happened.
Well, tell him to bring somebody new into my life. I
Tribulation
need a new girlfriend.
brings events like Comet Wormwood and the burning of lands and all these horrible events and things. You will have to endure them, people. Don't be afraid. He who is embracing the rapture is embracing it because he is afraid to face tribulation. He or she.
Yeah, I don't know if she's got something planned up her sleeve. Yeah, I think that's it.
And the evangelicals also believe that there should be a temple. And they are wrong as well. The temple, John says in Revelation, is in heaven with Christ, as is the Ark of the Covenant.
Next year we're going to do
both of these
Universal Studios. It'll be
objects,
Natalia, me,
the temple and the
Ark,
ark, were destroyed long ago and no longer exist and are in heaven with Christ. That's why they're not required.
Next October to the Fair Fest.
Christ is all that is required because he has already sacrificed himself
where they have
in Jerusalem.
You know, where they
so the land is holy.
Like haunted houses
and when he stands on the Mount of Olives, he blesses not only the Mount of Olives, he blesses the Temple Mount. He blesses all of Jerusalem. Jerusalem is Christ's seat.
That's what she said. She wanted to go. Yeah, she wanted to go. So yeah, that sounds good.
The Catholic Church is the creation of Constantine. Emperor Constantine
would definitely not like that.
Adopted Christianity to keep the empire together. Is it the whore of Babylon? Let me tell you this. There are 7 hills in Mecca. Uh-huh.
That's the plan.
Any
Job by then.
faith that is based on government is the whore of Babylon. So not only the Catholic Church, but the Muslims are the whore of Babylon.
Yesterday I got, when you told me that she was coming to us on Tuesday, I got so upset I broke my nail.
Only the good Muslims, good Jews, and good Christians who are practicing their faith away from
Well, yeah, I was making soup and the damn juice
these
got on my
material
hand.
places
I think the redness is finally going away.
are the true church. Everyone was wondering who's right and who's wrong. This is what is right and what is wrong, people. I'm explaining it to you right now. Because the Catholics left out the most important gospel in the Bible. And that's the gospel of St. Thomas, who tells you that Christ said, the kingdom of God is in you. And without. Not in buildings of stone and wood. Split a piece of wood, lift a stone, and you will find me there. Do not worship houses of stone and wood. You are the church. Christ is the church.
Because I do a walk-in. But I hope so.
And that's our lesson for today.
No, I'll tell them I'll go right now.
Do not embrace the violence of any faith in the name of God. Because that is something that the devil put there. He put it in Islam, he put it in Christianity, and he put it in Judaism. The secret is separating his words from God's words. Until next week, hopefully my niece will stop blabbing to her girlfriend or whoever she's talking to.
No, it's not my girlfriend, it's my mother.
It's her mother.
The damn blogging again.
I'll see you next week.